And then we have yes, thank you. What would we do without Anessa? Thank you, Anessa. There's people who couldn't make this call, so a bit again. So I'm going to start tour de force. Pickleball, boat trip, conference, again, by regions, asset classes, industries, and impact interests. Then we have a tradition that started last year, which is karaoke at the end of the night. And sort of like you don't expect to be singing, and then suddenly you see yourself singing up there. So even Jack Wyant hit the stage. And it doesn't matter if you don't know the words, because John Nigerian is going to be holding up his phone, singing the words so that we all can see it. And then breakfast, and the focus is on sports, because we are going to be playing pickleball. We're going to be having an exhibition match. But it's really a mixer, so you meet as many people as possible, and it's very low key, and don't get injured. We had our first injury last year. He's now back, and he says he's playing. So hopefully that's the case. And then we push on to Miami, pretty informal that evening. Fontainebleau will be raging, just always does, with high connections on that Sunday. We will be doing Monday morning. So if you're not an allocator, you can sleep in a little bit. And then we have the full conference will go about 1:30, but then 2 officially into a reception, and then we sort of decrescendo and iConnection starts. If you don't know what that is, let us know and give you more details. It's a very different kind of an experience, but it does bring a lot of people together. So we are looking to populate some of the panels and co-leaders of breakouts. You can indicate your interests on that webpage at the bottom if you're interested. Do that submit button. Also, just what your interests are, so that we know how to populate, how to size up the breakouts. Early bird ends today, or I guess technically tomorrow, the way it's written. It says until, so I guess that means until tomorrow. And then everything sort of, if you want to do a package deal, that's fine. If you want to go one city, that's fine too. But those are the basics. I would say, since many of you are new, I'll show you give you a flavor for it here. This was last year. Let's give it a second. Oh, can you hear that?
No.
Yeah, I've learned there's a way you have to do this, right? I have to stop sharing. New share. Where you can hear. All right, I think this does it. I might have to have you, Nessa, do it, but let's see how it goes. Share sound. There we go. Sorry about that. Try it again. You can understand it without even the sound.
We have started using GPT and ChatGPT to summarize a lot of the manager views that we get, considering that we are looking at 150 managers.
We have a huge opportunity to learn more about the ocean world, to leverage that knowledge in all sorts of fields.
Caponi from Global Empowerment Mission from Miami. He landed like 2 days after the war started.
To Web3 enablement, to enabling content creators, to disenfranchising the incumbent oligopoly.
Here's some data about North Dakota you didn't know. It's the 4th largest GDP per capita in America and will be number 1 in 36 months. Why is that?
Anybody here ever hire somebody from the University of North Dakota, University of South Dakota? I've never known a successful entrepreneur
They had a little
that's ever
disagreement.
started a business who said, I'm not going to start it here because the tax rate is too
But
low.
short term for the markets is probably several years, 3 to 5 years, that we're going to see increased demand, and especially with China reopening.
People are getting laid off, so it's a great time to raise money.
All right, that gives you a sense. But well, of last year, and here to answer questions at 11 o'clock. If you don't know, every Tuesday we have a briefing, so 9 minutes. Stephen Burke is on the call. What's the topic today, Stephen?
The Fed and how they're going to communicate what's going on with the economy and what they're doing with rates.
So stick around, very interactive every Tuesday, 11 o'clock. Questions? Everything's perfectly clear?
Maybe just one quick question. So with the hotels, do we need to give them a special code, or, is it just
So-
regular individual booking?
You book your own, but those links give you the access to that code.
Okay, very good.
If you have an issue, let us know.
Just a quick comment. This is not about the Miami, but for Zurich. So Thursday there is the event. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, other events coming up. Zurich is Thursday.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about Formula G racing, space. Jane will be in Zurich talking about space, and then renewables is a theme. And then we have our roundtables, and it's Christmas spirit in Zurich. So other than the Scandinavians, I think the German-speaking Europe might win the Christmas award. Other questions, comments? Kara, I know you've got a lot of people. We were so busy doing New York and Singapore, so we want to revisit your lists.
Yeah, okay. I think the easiest thing is just to kind of highlight the list of what you want me to go after. Time is kind of running tight because Jeff and I are going to be leaving for a holiday pretty soon, but I'll try and get done as much as I can. If you kind of select your top desired from the Naples list.
Can you put it back up to the top of my email and I'll call you?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yep,
Thank
absolutely.
Thank you.
A question on that boat trip. Last year we did Naples Princess. Do you want to do that boat trip again, or there's other options too?
What about the billionaire row trip? Is that included, or is that a different trip?
That is usually included, at least in the Pure Florida, more relaxed, casual one. It's just a matter of how whether it's low tide, high tide. Sometimes they can't get into the Port Royal area. But usually, the Port Royal Double Sunshine Tour, which is not on a yacht, it's more of a it's equally close. You get it right from Tin City, and I'll tell you, this is the home of the Goldman Sachs CEO, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And each of their boats are often named kind of funny names after. It's an enjoyable tour, and it's even closer than the Naples Princess, if you can believe it. So that one might be an interesting option if you don't want the fancy yacht sort of look.
We'll make that part of our discussion tonight.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Mark, I wanted to mention
Mark.
that we are likely, with your permission, of course, but we are likely to have a repeat of last year Naples Miami transition and invite guests onto our boat on Sunday evening.
Okay, that'd be great. I thought you were going to talk about your plane because Stephen Burke didn't get a chance to get on that plane.
No, we'll not be bringing planes this year. But it's actually funny. Ron Biscardi from iConnections chartered every single boat in the harbor during the week, including ours.
Of course you did.
But I reserved that Sunday night because I had anticipated that John and I wanted to invite the 361 family for a repeat of what I think was a very enjoyable evening on board last year. So details to follow.
Thank you.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Mark. That was a lot of fun.
My pleasure.
Anyone else with questions, comments? by the way, you don't have to stay at, even though it's a 300 versus a $700 rate, you can go to places that are a little further away and they become more reasonable.
Hey,
We actually
Mark, I
did
think
an Airbnb
Mark,
last year that worked very nicely.
Yeah.
That was about 10 minutes away. That's
There
a
you
good
go.
suggestion too. Sorry, Jack.
well, no, Mark, if you, why don't you get the Airbnb next door to it as well, so that we can centralize the action. I was just going to underscore for the other Mark that he should say something about you, Mark, relative to the sensational boat trip that you and John sponsor every year. And just as some random dude in Ohio, I would like to acknowledge you for doing it and recommend that people attend it.
It's on the schedule. We call it informal dinners and drinks, but it fits perfectly right by, it could say yacht right here.
Well, one minor warning is so many people want to be on it that a line forms,
Right.
and it's much more exciting to be at the front of the line rather than the back of the line. So for those who are smart enough to take notes and remember that, get to the front of the line.
There you go.
Thank you, Jack.